Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the lab. It is, and this is crazy to say, the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Go. 10 years of this game. And let me tell you, I started on the first day, the very first day on July 6th, 2016. And I've opened the game every day, even if just to spin a Pokestop. Now, these days, it's a whole lot more than just that. But the first few years, yeah, it was probably just to spin a Pokestop. But the game has evolved in such a way that it's blown my mind. If I were to know where the game would end up from the first day, that'd be insane. But honestly, in the first day, the first few weeks, we didn't need very much. All we had were gyms, Pokestops with lures, and just catching Pokemon. That's really it. We didn't have raids, we didn't have Gmax battles, we didn't have trades, we didn't have friendship in the game. We didn't have much. We did have egg hatching, but that was pretty much it. I am wearing my first Instinct shirt, which I think I got in like 2018 or 2019. That's back when I wore a size small, so it's a bit tight on me now. But 10 years of this game is really wild, it's really special, and a lot of people like to say it's about the friends you make along the way, and that is very true. It is doubly true today because I've made some incredible friends playing this game, but also I want to highlight the best buddies that I've made in the game with my Pokemon, because they're all markers of time, and they all signify some event that happened, and it's a memorable Pokemon for the most part when it's a best buddy. So let's go ahead and talk about some of my best buddies, and soon we'll be able to see some familiar faces that will tell me a few of their special catches in the game. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've got my best buddy screen up. Buddy 5 is what you use to find out what your best buddies are. I have 186 right now, and I have like 6 more that I'm working on. This is by no means every Pokemon that I find special, but it is definitely the most special Pokemon. So first, we're gonna start out with the first day. My very first Pokemon, which was Charmander, that's what I chose. July 6, 2016 in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. It was my summer vacation from grad school, and it's the 10-10-10 just like everyone else. There's nothing really special about this except for the date. The date being on there, and I really haven't done anything to it except best buddy it. From there, this is my first hundo. It's when I went back to grad school that fall. I mean, the first hundo that I know of, because at the time I was probably deleting things that were not high CP in the first couple weeks because we didn't know what we were doing. But this is the first hundo that I know of in my game. September 9th, 2016, it was Snorlax. I remember it was on the plaza in Kansas City, and I just caught it randomly, and I saw it. That was back when we didn't actually have the appraisal lines like this. We had just words that said this is the best I've seen, or whatever it is, or whatever your team leader says, and that's what signified a hundo. And yeah, Snorlax is my very first hundo. That was wild. But first, let's take it back for a minute, because actually, and this is one that I don't have best buddied yet, which is kind of crazy, but this Alakazam, which is decent, I found the second week of Pokemon Go when I went back to Miami during summer vacation, and I went to this mall, and I remember someone yelled Alakazam, and everyone from different corners of this mall came from like out of the woodwork into one spot where we could catch this Alakazam. I remember my brothers were with me. That was back when they were playing the game. My mom was with me. She was playing the game. It was insane. It was the most exciting summer. And I know that people say this, but it's the closest we've come to world peace that summer. So this Alakazam definitely signifies that summer in a very special way, because I was with people that don't play the game anymore. And it was a lot of fun when everyone was playing, and it really is all about the people. Then we've got my first shiny Pokemon, and this was caught on Halloween in 2017 when I was on my way to class. terrible IVs, but it's my first shiny. It's Sableye, which is incredible. So it'll always mean a lot to me. Then we have my lucky Alola Raichu, which I had been really trying to get, and I was doing a raid for it with my mom. That's back when Alola Raichu was basically in raids all the time. For like a few years, it was just constantly in raids. And my mom's was shiny and mine wasn't, and she didn't care too much, and so she gave it to me. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, as you know if you've been on my channel. I don't have the hundo of this yet, but yeah, this was when we were in North Carolina. It was right after grad school, before I moved to New York. Then, while I was in New York, they released shiny Gibble in eggs, in 7-kilometer eggs, and I'll never forget the grind for that. I was going all over the city, just hatching eggs, and it was so hard to get this shiny. I don't think I knew anybody who had it at that time. And I remember I was in a cab near Central Park, and my eggs started hatching, and I will never forget, there are 2 times where I just convulsed in my seat, and I was so excited. Garchomp is another one of my favorites. I was so stoked. I mean, this is such a cool Pokemon. February 9th, 2020. This was right before the pandemic. But I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So for that, it'll always be very special for me. And again, this is one of those very like, just a core Pokemon Go memory. Then we've got my first ever Shadow Shiny, and it's an incredible one. It's Lapras. I named it Neptune. It's not bad. I remember Sierra had this. And this is back when they didn't even say in the geotag how you caught it. It just says caught, because it was that long ago. This was August 11, 2020. This is right in the heart of the pandemic. And I remember I played a lot of Pokemon Go during the pandemic, as a lot of people did. There was a resurgence of Pokemon Go. People found that game again during the pandemic. But yeah, this was my first ever Shadow Shiny. It's probably my favorite Shadow Shiny because it's just perfect. It's purple on purple. It is gorgeous. And then from there, I got my first ever Galarian Bird. This is back when I was a bigger fan of Timothée Chalamet. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of Timothée Chalamet, a cool version. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But this was my first ever Galarian Bird, and I will never forget that. I was so stoked. I remember walking around my neighborhood here in Atlanta, constantly doing that daily adventure instance, trying to catch a Galarian Bird, and this was my first one. And it's such a good one. I use it for Great League sometimes, and honestly, like, IVs are not great, but then we have to go back to one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, which it's my namesake, Charizard. Charizard, Shadow, Shiny, and look at these IVs. You will never see me purifying this thing, never. I remember that when I got this, I was doing a rocket leader at home. It was from a balloon, and my parents were just at home, and they don't play Pokemon. So when I got it, they were having a conversation that I was involved in. But you know how you can play Pokemon and multitask? Like, I've become a master at that. And I remember when the shiny Charmander popped up from Arlo, I was so excited, but didn't let anything out, really, because I was in the middle of another conversation. That's when multitasking really failed me. It didn't get the celebration it deserved, but I will never forget catching this Pokemon. Now I want to take a break and talk to some of my friends about their most special catch in Pokemon Go. Some familiar faces, some new faces, a lot of nostalgia, and a lot of sentiment. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Jay, and my most special Pokemon I've caught in the last 10 years is this Melmetal. It was the first 3-star mythical that I caught, and it was the first Pokemon I powered up all the way to level 50.
My favorite catch of all time in the last 10 years has been the shiny female Salandit.
Favorite hatch of my career since 2016 was definitely Shundo hatch, Christmas Pichu from most recent holiday event, and definitely one of my favorite Pokemon in my whole account.
The Shundo Excavator Pikachu.
Shiny Galarian Zapdos.
Hundo Zorua.
My only Turtwig.
Okay.
Alright.
I think my most special catch, it has to be my Celebi, because it's, first of all, my favorite Pokemon. It's the protector of the forest. You know, we found it at the shrine in Gold and Silver, and I made a point to like go into the forest, find a shrine in the forest in Japan, and catch my Celebi there. And it was like the culmination of this big adventure. So catching my favorite Pokemon in its natural habitat in a forest shrine, it was amazing.
That video is incredible. You need to watch that video.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's the Bidoof King, Zach. My favorite Pokemon, you would think it would be Bidoof, but it's actually a Shundo Geodude that I caught in the wild. Oh, wild Shundo. Like 1 in a million, right? On my birthday.
My favorite catch of all time is my Shadow Shundo Suicune.
Shiny Kyogre, 100%.
So my favorite catch that I've ever gotten was I got my Shundo Rayquaza on Mega Rayquaza Day.
Favorite catch of the last 10 years was my very first Shundo, a Groudon from the Primal Raid Day in 2024. And it was back before that it would wind down and you would see the CP like we kind of have in the last like couple weeks. So you never knew what it was gonna be. And I remember seeing the green and seeing the 2351 and it kind of registering, but the realization kind of coming up after and screaming Shundo and my wife screaming in the other room, what? And me screaming Shundo. And she's like, Shundo? So it was definitely a crazy moment. Finally, after almost 3 years, actually, yeah, almost 3 years it took, but definitely a special one. And definitely, you know, you always remember the first one. That's what they say.
So it's kind of recent, but my most prized Pokemon in my possession is a shiny Mewtwo with the background. But it's not just any shiny Mewtwo with the background. It's also caught in a party with my friend who hates the party feature. Please, 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 let's be in a party. And so there's only 2 in the whole world that say caught in a party with my friend Chris.
Shiny Virizion, because this is my first ever Pokemon card, and it wasn't shiny, but it was Virizion, so now I have a shiny one. And I think
my Pokemon of choice for being my like all-time favorite for me is my shiny Scizor, because Scyther growing up was always my favorite Pokemon. So getting a shiny Scyther and then evolving into a Scizor was super cool to me.
All right, so summer 2016, there was 2. We saw a Pikachu and then we saw a Snorlax, and we pulled the car over and we ran across the park to make sure that we could get both of them. Well, there were 2 separate times, but those were the 2 most nostalgic ones. Just, you know, nothing special now, but back then it was crazy.
Favorite catch of all time? It's got to be shiny female Combee. Absolutely, 3-star.
I would have to say that my favorite catch has been my first shiny Raichu because I love him.
My favorite shiny catch was probably my Hundozation I got at last Go Fest by the Wall Street Bowl.
Hey, mine would be during COVID. I pre-COVID tried to get the shiny Chansey so bad when it was TAS only. And then during that Kanto week of COVID, I was going hard for it and I saw it on a nearby and I had to walk out of the way to go get it. And I went over, it was shiny. And then I saw another nearby and I walked over and got 2 shiny Chanseys in a row.
So I'm picking for my favorite Pokemon as a memory for 10 years of Pokemon GO is this Hundo Venusaur. Now, I caught this in Burbank, California. This is the very first raid, one of my very first raid Hundos, like 2 or 3 days into when raids first came out. Couldn't be shiny, but Venusaur is my favorite Pokemon. Obviously, decking out the hat here, the custom-made hat. So it's a fun memory. It's maxed out, Mega Level 3. Hopefully we can make it Mega Level 4 in the future, but best buddy, 50, and so yeah.
My next one, if you didn't know this, my favorite all-time Pokemon is Xerneas. I got the shiny. It was a, what do they call it? A Shiny 8, a 98 shiny. It was a 14, 15, 15. And I decided to silver bottle cabinet. So it's now a Shundo, and it's called Xerneas, of course. But yeah, I give funny names to a lot of my Shundos, but this is a very special one. I also have a Hundo Hoopa, which I got from an Elite Raid. That's what they were called, right? Back in the day, they don't exist anymore. It just says caught at a raid, but yeah, this was 3.5 years ago. And it's very special because it's a mythical Pokemon and it's actually really good. I use it quite a bit. This next one, just letting you know, it gets a little real right now, but this next one is a shiny that was very rare at the time. I caught it a week after, or not even a week, 4 days after my dad passed away. So I named it after my dad, and I best buddied it. And it's, again, these best buddies are markers of time in my life over the past 10 years. And this was a very important time. There was, I mean, that whole first year was really tough, but this, I don't know, this kind of gives me a little bit of joy and a way to remember him. It's kind of like a little sigil in a way. Okay, whew. Anyway, we have well, it's not my first, it's my best Shadow Shiny Mewtwo, and I called it Vecna because Stranger Things at the time, very popular, very fun, and you know, it reminds me of Vecna, doesn't it? I mean, it's dangerous, it's evil, it's got Shadow Ball, like, of course. And then from there, I've just got a few Shundos. I mean, I didn't put all my Shundos on here, but I got my Shundo Pikachu from Go Fest 2 years ago. I haven't gotten a Shundo every year, but I've gotten a special Hundo. I remember I was with Zach in the front of Central Park at the very beginning of Go Fest 2024 when I got this. And funny enough, July 6th, that is exactly 8 years after the first day of Pokemon Go, and exactly 2 years ago today. That's wild. Yeah, so there's the Shundo Chew, and then from there, I also have, from the very first Wild Area event, a Shundo Venusaur, and I will never forget this because people around me, it was a mighty Pokemon. People around me were catching Venusaur, and a few people said, oh, that's a Hundo, and I was like, are you kidding me? Because mine's shiny. And I was so excited. There is a clip of this if you go back to that video. Yeah, and when you mega evolve it, it turns into an XXL. It is, I mean, it's iconic. Bulbasaur's #1 in the Pokedex. You know, it's Venusaur, it's #3, but it's from #1, and it's, I mean, I have all these tags on it because it's just one of my favorite Pokemon that I have. And what a good shiny. I mean, honestly, the shinies for the original starter Pokemon are chef's kiss. Then I got my first shiny Galarian bird, and it was Moltres again. Moltres really loves me, and to top it all off, it was on Pokemon Day. It was on February 27th. There was a whole event going on in Pokemon Go, nothing to do with the Galarian birds, but I did get this shiny Galarian bird, which is incredible. Not great IVs, but the attack is better than my other Moltres, so yeah, this was really fun. Then I have to take it back real quick to my first ever Shundo. This is the second Pokemon that I've totally convulsed in excitement over. I couldn't believe it. This was during Go Fest in 2021, and when I saw that it was a Hundo, while it was shiny, I couldn't believe it. I didn't think I was ever gonna get a Shundo at that point in 2021. People were getting Shundos. They were very, very rare. I feel like they were rarer at the time. I feel like people have a lot more Shundos now, and I don't know why. But I couldn't be happier with a first Shundo. Ho-Oh, which I call Shundo-Oh, right? I mean, it's, yeah, and I kept its exclusive moves, Earthquake and Sacred Fire, even though people like to use Brave Bird on it. It's a nice little fun thing that I still use in the Master League. We've got Cinderace with the background, and it's G-Max, and it's a Hundo. I remember I was doing this G-Max battle with my friend Tyler, who you've seen in videos, who you just saw in this video. I have 2 Gmax Cinderaces that are a hundo. The second one I got during GoFest Global last year, but this one I got with the jersey background, and I don't know anyone else who has this. This might be the rarest Pokemon that I have, funny enough. And I use it all the time. I maxed it out, I best buddied it, I gave it a 3rd move. It's here to stay. This was a wild moment. Then we've got my 2 98 mythical shiny Pokemon. We've got Keldeo, crazy, 15, 14, 15, and then we have Diancie, 14, 15, 15. Crazy. I couldn't, like, back-to-back shiny mythical Pokemon at 98%. It's just wild to me. I don't know if I'll ever use a silver bottle cap on them, but this, I've never had such luck with mythical Pokemon. I'll probably never have such luck with mythical Pokemon ever again. Oh, my Zeraora was a 15, 15, 12, so that was pretty good, but I promise it's not usually like that. But I'll take it. Also, I have my Xerneas with the background. That's the shiny from, what was it? Oh, Global. It was from Kalos Tour Global. And it's a 91, like honestly quite solid. This is definitely one I could silver bottle cap. I can see myself doing that. But yeah, again, my favorite Pokemon, shiny with that beautiful background. Then we have my newest best buddy, which is Shadow 100% background Hundo Zapdos. This is a Pokemon that I was really gunning for a few weeks ago during GoFest in Chicago because I wanted the shiny with the background, and I also wanted just a regular Hundo because I didn't have a Hundo Zapdos, and that is my team bird. It's my favorite bird. It's the reason why I joined Instinct. I wasn't looking at all the little, you know, characteristics of the teams. I just joined because I liked Zapdos, and honestly, Team Instinct for life. I am always gonna be Team Instinct. I don't care that we're the underdogs. The underdogs usually come out on top at the end. They do. And some of the best people are Team Instinct, so just saying. Anyway, off my soapbox. Hundo Zapdos Shadow, also again, one of my rarest Pokemon. And this, I got this GoFest. So I've gotten something good from the last 3 GoFests. I got the Shundo Pikachu 2024, I got the Hundo Cinderace with the jersey background 2025, and then I got the Hundo Shadow Zapdos with the Chicago background 2026. It's just wild. This game has meant so much to me. I play it every day. I'm a believer in it. I love what it does for communities. I love what it does for mental health, physical health. It is an incredible game that I hope never goes away. 10 years is a lot of time to invest in the game. It's also a lot of time to invest in friendships and in yourself. And I couldn't be happier with the past 10 years. I'd love for you guys to share your most special catch in Pokemon Go if you can only share one, just like my friends have. Anyway, happy 10th anniversary Pokemon Go. Can't wait for the next 10 more. See you out in the field. Bye.